What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, and back with a lucky dip of sorts, although I do have a handful of tunes by Anything Box. I'd like to give a big shout out to a great friend of the channel, Herman, who has shared a number of things over time, including some, limited runs and one-offs, as well as a couple tunes by artists I'm still going through. He sent me a Sinead O'Connor tune a while ago, and I've been sort of sitting on it because I, went back and started going through her albums properly. In any case, the point is, he shared a great amount of material with me, and I have to give you credit. I've really become a fan of the Red Flag material I have, so big shout out to for introducing me to Red Flag. And yeah, we're going to listen to Anything Box, an artist group I'm not familiar with. I think group? I'm trying to remember exactly what he said in the email, but ultimately, I suppose my guess would be that it's a group. Either way, we're going to listen to I Felt the Pain. I like the phrase. There's a raw intensity to it. It also is in the past tense, meaning perhaps the pain is no longer, or at the very least the pain is also in the past, if not necessarily the present and potentially the future. So yeah, I wonder what type of pain we're talking about. This could be physical pain, it could be psychological duress, it could be emotional pain, it could be all of those things. Obviously, if you have a very traumatic, violent incident, it could also cause psychological and emotional pain. So I wonder what type of pain we're dealing with, and if this is an incident, if this is just a state of being for someone, and maybe it's not even related to an incident per se. I do wonder what is afoot, but obviously not knowing the group Anything Box at all, I don't really have any, roadmap to think about what it might be related to, so let's just hear it. This is Anything Box. The tune is I Felt the Pain, and it's one of a handful of Anything Box tunes sent to me by a great friend of the channel, Herman. I like it straight away. I wonder, like, syncopated every other, or like 4 to the 4. Oh. awesome tune. Sonically, it's giving me 80s vibes. Not as much as Red Flag. And, shout out to you, Herman. You are conversant in lesser known music that is really cool. But yeah, not as much as Red Flag, but there's some moments there where it's making me think, this kind of reminds me a little bit of early Depeche Mode. But yeah, ultimately, I love the synth work. Again, some electrical sounds giving me some of the 80s vibes, but also the vocal work, which just had a good voice anyway, but when he really leaned into that raspy, like emotional, gritty delivery, like you can feel the pain in those moments. So it was both like sonically nice to hear, but also conceptually relevant. So really enjoyed that performance. I'll admit, I'm curious, given that there's, I think at least 3 more songs. There was 2 emails that Herman sent, which had material from Anything Box, which again is a very funny name. So I'm just going to look up this song, and we'll see where this comes from, and then apparently it comes from a release called Peace, which is an album from 1990. Okay, so again, like maybe a culmination of a lot of the sounds, that were developing through the 80s, and perhaps synthesized in a way that's a bit more streamlined and perfectly in place compared to the real sort of experimental stuff, the pioneers and so on, and like the earliest part of that decade and even before that. Okay, so Anything Box, that was their first album, 1990. They have a number of albums right up to, looks like 2021 is their most recent one, which was Distances. But okay, so at some point there was 4 people, but it seems like there's 3 people now. Let's see what Wikipedia has to say. They're from Long Beach, or they're from Patterson, New Jersey, but they're based in Long Beach. That's that's like a 20-25 minute drive from where I live. That's very close to where I live. Although it always makes me laugh, right? It's such the unimaginative city name, like Long Beach. Nevertheless, they're an American group. Apparently, they were formed in '86, best known for their 89 single, Living in Oblivion. Also garnered some attention from releasing an album entirely in MP3 format in 2003. It's funny how that would have been seen as like, again, now, like most people release things digitally, and yes, a lot of albums have vinyl releases and so on because vinyl has made a resurgence, but it became the standard in pretty much most music industries. But it's interesting that at the time it was seen as like, whoa, this is way like futuristic. They didn't even release an actual like physical release. But yeah, okay, so an American group started late 80s, and I think the tune that I just mentioned, which apparently is their biggest hit, I think that's one of the tracks Herman sent me. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that tune there, brilliant. And ultimately, lyrically, it sounds like maybe images of younger people reminding him of him and this girl, or like him and this other important person to him, like made him flash back to like his own memories. And it sounds like he's saying whether they were smiling or whether they were crying, he felt the intense emotion. He felt the pain. And, even in a smile, there can be emotion that's like, tear-inducing. There can be like intense emotions. It's like a absolute value thing. Whichever way they are down the spectrum, there can be a lot there. So, it maybe felt like something had made him recollect that he had felt the pain in this earlier relationship, which sounds like it doesn't exist anymore, or at least in the form that it existed, that he's recalling. So yeah, a very felt song, and again, that seemed to fit perfectly with the lyrics, or with the vocal delivery rather. So cool tune. Looking forward to going through the rest of Anything Box. I will try to get to those now sort of in a regular rhythm with the other things, just because I'm highly interested in the same way that Red Flag definitely caught my attention. So once again, shout out to Herman, shout out to all the folks who've been sending, again, either one-off or like limited runs of like groups that are sort of just presented as like, you know, this isn't like a full deep dive, but here's a selection of tracks from these groups. I really do appreciate both the idea and the patience as I get around to everything. So big shout out to Herman and everyone else who makes this channel, you know, the fun community that it is. I will see you next time. Peace.